The first full scenes for James Cameron's Avatar 2 were shown at D23 yesterday, and according to descriptions and reactions, it seems like we're going to be getting a lot of interesting character dynamics come the full film. There were also reactions towards the visual technology and a small bit of news surrounding the filming on future Avatar sequels, and I'm going to be discussing all of it in this video. But before I get into it, if you want to keep up to date on any of my content surrounding the Avatar sequels and other sci-fi series such as Denis Villeneuve's Dune, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. Also, feel free to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram at Cortex Videos, which is all linked in the description below. But without further ado, let's dive into the Avatar 2 footage that was shown at D23. So attendees at D23 were handed 3D glasses to witness new scenes from James Cameron's Avatar 2, and while they are not being released to the public, there have been descriptions of the footage released online and some other reactions to it as well. There were 6 different scenes shown to those in the audience, so let's break down what was seen and what it means in relation to the story, characters, and visual presentation of the film. Starting with the first scene, apparently this introduction was intended to be a showcase for the 3D that fans will get to experience this December, one that with no dialogue displays the Na'vi swimming in the oceans of Pandora. Apparently you get a look at some of the new underwater creatures, and it's a scene that truly highlights the leaps in technology that this sequel is making. The combination of high frame rate and hyper-realistic VFX is something that has been mentioned by those at the event, with some saying that it looks beautiful even on the screen at D23 for 7,000 people in attendance. A few others did say that it may take a while to get used to, being that it works so differently on the eyes, but the 3D is something that elevates the footage, with the first clip giving a good indication of what we are going to be getting from a visual perspective. Moving on, the other 5 scenes that were shown apparently provided a lot more info on character relationships and the central focus points when it comes to the story. I'm going to quote CinemaBlend for the descriptions of the next 5 scenes because they seem to have provided the most detailed recap of the footage that was shown. For the second scene, in their article they said, "The clip shifted the action away from the beauty of nature to a scene set in a laboratory with Kiri, the new young Na'vi character played by Sigourney Weaver. As Kiri looks at the avatar of Dr. Grace Augustine in a tank and watches an old video of her in human form on a monitor, another unidentified kid Na'vi asks who knocked her up. The number one guess is Norm Spellman, though that's an idea that Kiri is clearly disgusted by. The debate clearly strikes a chord with Spider, who suggests that sometimes it's better to not know who your father is. Why? Because it seems that Spider is the son of Miles Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang in the previous film. So according to that description from CinemaBlend, this second clip establishes that there is going to be some intriguing questions surrounding the parents of characters like both Kiri and Spider. And it does call back to that Empire article that I did a video on a few months ago, where they revealed that a lot of the human characters on Pandora were those who had survived or were born during the previous war. Having Spider as Miles' son is going to provide another aspect to the conflict of this upcoming war between them, and it will probably add to this idea of blurring the lines between human and Na'vi. So a much more interesting second clip that sounds like it's definitely bringing a more fascinating sense of plot and where the disputes will ultimately lie. When it comes to the last 4 clips, Cinema Blend did say that a lot of this was narrative based, but it did work like the previous ones to set up more of the conflict that The Way of Water is going to be centered on. Cinema Blend stated, "The third Avatar The Way of Water D23 Expo clip was clearly chosen because of the action featured. Based solely on context provided by the scene, it seems that there will be a part in the movie where the children of Jake and Ney'tiri get kidnapped and the parents execute a rescue mission. In the middle of the forest in the pouring rain, Na'vi heroes move silently and start an assault. One guy is taken down with an axe to the back of the head, while Ney'tiri positions herself in a tree to take aim with her bow and arrow. She has to wait for her moment to get the right shot, but when it comes, she takes it, and she ends up shooting one of them right in the eye. After this happens, all hell breaks loose, guns start firing, and the kids try to fight back. The leader of the group, who may or may not be Quaritch as a Na'vi, sees the feathers on the arrow fired and calls out to Mrs. Sully, saying that they have unfinished business, and mocks her litter of half-breeds. As this happens, one of the Na'vi on Quaritch's side takes aim at the sky with a gun, but the scene cut before the shot is fired. And in relation to the 4th scene, Cinema Blend said, "The next Avatar 2 clip was seemingly set in the aftermath of the previous one, featuring Jake and Ney'tiri fighting with one another while their children watch them. Jake argues that they are in danger as they are being hunted by Miles Quaritch and that they need to find a new home so that they can be safe. Ney'tiri, on the other hand, has always lived in the forest and made a promise to her dying father that she would always be around to help her people. Jake says that staying around is putting Ney'tiri's community in danger, and while he has no plan about what to do, protecting his family is what he can do. He explains that no matter where they go, family is our fortress." Of course, in the Empire magazine from before, it was said that Jake and Ney'tiri would find their community in danger towards the start of the film before spreading out to the clans on the oceans to help build an alliance, so this does sound like it's from earlier on in the film as pointed out. They also said in that magazine that Jake and his family would find it hard to convince the other clans to help them, and that they feel quite distrusting of the central family due to an ongoing alliance of Na'vi and human fighters. So it sounds like for a lot of the runtime, Jake, Ney'tiri, his children, and others on the team are going to have to try to convince the other clans that these humans they've taken under their guard are safe and want to help fight for the future of Pandora. And this is essentially highlighted more in the following scene that was shown at D23. Cinema Blend said, "In the scene, a family of Na'vi that doesn't look familiar debate about one of the characters bonding with an outcast. The paternal figure in the group delivers a lecture about tribe history and how killing only leads to more killing, which is apparently why the outcast in question was kicked out of their community. One of the characters stands up to this paternal figure and fights against the tradition, saying, 'I know what I know.' So it seems like this will be one of the central issues of Avatar 2's plot, stemming from the fallout of the previous war, with humans being adopted and taken in by Jake's clan, eventually becoming a problem with how other clans and Na'vis respond to that." And in regards to the final clip shown at D23, Cinema Blend said, "The last one brought the action back to the water and the Sully family. Apparently taking place after the clan has moved out of the forest and into a new home, the Na'vi we follow are told that they must learn how to ride aquatic creatures that look like small and friendly plesiosaurs if they wish to stay with a new tribe. Based on the evidence presented, it's not a particularly hard skill to acquire, as the young Na'vi bond with the creatures quickly before hopping on their backs and being taken deep into the water." Cinema Blend also said, while it wasn't a substantial scene, the sequence did provide even more beautiful underwater 3D cinematography, and it does seem like the movie will be furthering the themes about the importance of having a relationship with nature. And as stated before, that seems seems to be linked directly into them trying to convince the other Na'vi clans that siding with these human outcasts is the only way to hold back the evolved human threat seeking to destroy them for good. So the footage and scene descriptions seems to showcase that Avatar: The Way of Water will primarily focus on Jake's family, the dynamics with their children, and how the other clans react to them following their process of adopting and protecting human figures. Also, with the scene that involved the detailed recordings from Dr. Grace Augustine, it suggests that maybe she had more research on what Pandora is hiding beneath its oceans. I would think that this is going to act like Awa from the first film, but for this particular one, in the sense that we learn something transcending about the oceans that Jake and his family have fled to. It would tie into James Cameron's love and discoveries surrounding the ocean and make for an important statement about the natural world and preserving it. That's just my guess based on what we're hearing here, and it definitely seems like this will become more urgent and compelling within the context of the violent new war between the Na'vi and human forces led by Miles Quaritch. Many of the reactions to it seem quite impressed by what was shown, and while there were some who said that it's going to be hard to adjust to the high frame rate 3D of 48 frames per second, they imagine that in a more suitable cinematic environment that it will look great. We'll have to see when it comes to the new frame rates being used in extended scenes, but for now it seems like the extended footage did tease what's to come and suggests that The Way of Water is making big pushes towards a more absorbing plot and again, groundbreaking digital technology. The only other piece of news that came out of the event was that Avatar 4 is now officially filming. Of course, we still need to see the second film, and Cameron needs to deliver with both that and Avatar 3 before getting our hopes up surrounding the two that follow. But one thing I will say is that they must be confident in all of these upcoming projects, because for one, they are already deep into Avatar 3's post-production, and two, Cameron and co have been filming and working on these films for a very long time, making sure that the final product is exactly what they want. Time will soon tell, and while I personally believe that Avatar 2 is going to do wonders at the box office and probably be a decent film, I'm hoping that they do deliver on all of these narrative aspects that the footage from D23 showed off. But that was my video discussing the footage descriptions for Avatar 2 at D23. We'll have to see how the film is received when it releases in December, but to be honest, I am personally quite excited for it, even if it has been so long since the original. I still think a lot of people are underestimating James Cameron and how he continuously raises the bar with his projects in different ways, and based on these scene descriptions, it seems like he's trying to go all out once again. Hopefully it all pays off and builds the excitement surrounding more Avatar films that follow. But let me know down below in the comment section what you think towards these descriptions of the Avatar 2 footage, alongside whether you are excited for James Cameron's new film. For much more videos and news on James Cameron's Avatar films and upcoming sci-fi projects, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.